I just finished my last tech wrap-up meeting. Noticed my cell phone kept vibrating. I took a look at it. I found out it was a group of PhDs I hadn't talked to in a while who were mad at me. Everyone's saying, Samuel Benson, it's our William Carter's wedding day. Why don't you come? It's been a long wait. That's when I realized it's William Carter's big day. I'm sorry. I've been busy lately. I couldn't make it. I'm just saying, for the PhDs, we don't really have much to do with each other. I've been concentrating on more advanced technology. I don't really care about their research. It's like playing house. We didn't get to know each other very well over time. Samuel, don't be ridiculous. I know you're having a hard time. Who told you to keep your distance from our core team? Is it because you're too incompetent? You can't even find a suitable research team. You can only stay at home or work outside. Samuel, wait for it. William Carter from the outside has joined the research team of Johnson Technology. If he's in a good mood, he might offer you a $6,000 a month job as a janitor at Johnson & Johnson. No one else can get that job. I thought it was funny because what they call the Johnson Technology Group, it's actually just a research team under my management. I've got a dozen other people working for me. I guess the reason why William doesn't dare to come here, I'm guessing William's afraid to come over because his favorite, Rosalind Harper, is going to marry him. I saw that quote from the group. Suddenly it didn't seem right. Wait a minute, isn't Rosalind on the science team my soon-to-be wife? I scrolled back up. When I saw Rosalind's marriage license in the group, I felt a twinge in my heart. I glanced at my cell phone screensaver. Rosalind was smiling a big smile, leaning on my shoulder. Rosalind? I went back to the office. There were lots of cute little love notes inside. My office is full of Rosalind's love notes. She wanted me to see them and think of her. I opened my chat with Rosalind. I saw her latest message. She said she was going back home for she'll be gone for a few days. Told me to take care of myself. I sent a message to Rosalind, asking her if she had an emergency at work, and I asked her if she could come back. It didn't take long. She replied, honey, there's a family emergency. It's a family emergency. I hope you understand. I went to open the chat of that doctor's group again. I found that everyone was still taunting me. I really wanted to see what was going on. I'll be right there. After I sent the message, put on my trench coat, called a driver, and set off. In the black Maybach, I kept going over my chats with Rosalind. Because of my help, Rosalind became the chief executive of Strong Technology. Although her ability is not very strong, she's even the worst in the tech team, but that's okay. I will support her. As long as I'm around, Rosalind will always be the head honcho of all of Johnson Tech. I was in the car, looking through my old chats with Rosalind. Suddenly, I noticed a pattern. Every 2 weeks, she would take 2 days off. At first, I thought she just wanted a vacation, so I quickly agreed to her request. I would help her with that part of the work anyway. But then, today Rosalind is marrying William Carter. It's not going to be easy to take 2 days off. It's starting to drizzle outside. The Maybach drove fast and soon arrived at the hotel where William was getting married. This hotel is the largest wedding venue in the city. Anyone who gets married here is a big shot. I didn't let the Maybach enter through the front door. I chose to go in through the back door. The driver looked confused. He asked me, Mr. Benson, why don't you just go in through the front door? I looked out the window at the wedding hotel. I was a little cold. I just wanted to go in and see what they were up to. Soon, Maybach stopped at the back door of the wedding hotel. The driver quickly got out and opened the door for me. I put on my trench coat. I walked in with a big stride, followed by my driver. After a short walk through the back kitchen, I reached the bustling wedding venue. I saw William on the wedding stage. His face was full of triumph. He was surrounded by a group of followers. A few of them saw me come in through the back door. Look, why did Samuel come in the back door? Oops, that's what William suspected. This kid can't do his research anymore. Now he's doing chores in the hotel kitchen, right? When William joins the research team of Johnson Technology under his sister-in-law's arrangement, he might even get a job as a janitor. I think this kid needs to get past William first before he can get his attention. I don't think so. I think Samuel's been trying to get on William's good side every day. I think Samuel is trying to impress William every day, trying to get the good job. William and a group of people walked up to me with smiles on their faces. I stood there straight and stared at them as they approached. William, so you're going to marry Rosalind? One of William's followers gave me a shove. Who told you to call your sister-in-law by her name so directly? Samuel, do you really think it's the same as when you were a student? We're all in the same circle? Things have changed completely. It's your chance to meet William. How dare you call your sister-in-law by her first name? The followers started to push and shove. I ended up on the red carpet. The driver behind me also just wanted to get out. He was also pushed to the ground. The staff at the wedding hotel turned a blind eye to this. They know who the real star of the show is. Today. I guess they think I'm just a poor kid kid who doesn't know what he's doing. It's better to stay out of trouble. William waved his hand as if he didn't care. Only then did those cautious people around him stop moving. When I was doing research, I was always rumored to be courting Rosalind. What's going on? I heard that your favorite goddess is going to marry me. Can't you stand it? I'll tell you what, if you kneel down and scream a few times, I can make you a little cleaner in our strong technology. William walked in front of me. He kicked me again. The followers next to him kept following William. $6,000 a month. That's a lot of money for a kid like you. If it wasn't for William Carter still remembering your old relationship. Think about it. How could he give you such a good job opportunity? Go and thank William. I'm getting cold inside. When I was in school, I never pursued Rosalind at all. I was always focused on the state-of-the-art technology. In fact, it was Rosalind who had been pursuing me. Every day, I greeted her with concern. In fact, I wished to see her more often. After every day's effort, Rosalind finally made me remember her. After graduation, I brought Rosalind to my company. This company was founded on the strength of my research. The research is state-of-the-art. Rosalind was very cool about joining a research company that she'd probably never have access to in her life. People who weren't even worth mentioning. They actually want to research technology. My cell phone fell out in a fit of pushing and shoving. At Rosalind's request, my phone screensaver had been changed to a picture of her with a big smile on her face. When William saw the screensaver on my phone, the smile on his face immediately disappeared. Samuel, I didn't realize you haven't given up yet. William directly grabbed my phone. His face became more and more unsightly. But I just want you to see today, the goddess you want most is actually married to me. After saying that, William was ready to slam down the cell phone in his hand. William, put the phone down. I suddenly shouted. This cell phone contains a lot of information for my research. Most of the important things are in this phone. If William breaks it, it would be a big loss. When William saw my reaction and thought I was just upset about the wallpaper. He couldn't help but sneer. I just wanted to stand up and grab my phone back. William's boys held me down again. The driver behind me also tried to protect me, but William's followers are too many. The hotel staff is running towards us. They all knew who the boss was. They went straight for the driver. William slammed my cell phone to the ground. I was very anxious. This cell phone is quite sturdy, although it rattled when I dropped it, but it didn't break. William looked at the phone, which was still in good condition. He froze for a moment. He thought to himself, why is this phone so durable? I saw that the phone was not broken. I was relieved. I was thinking of taking it, but when William saw my movement, William immediately showed a mocking expression, and he asked me, you want your cell phone back? Dream on. After saying that, he stepped hard on the cell phone and he crushed it hard. The screen of my cell phone was broken by William's foot. It was cracked. Do you know how important this phone is to me? I said through gritted teeth. Even though I'm in a lot of pain, the only thing I wanted to do now was to get the phone back. It contained very important information that I was working on. I reached out to get that phone back. William looked at me with there was hostility in his eyes. You dare to use my wife as wallpaper? He stepped on it again, right on the back of my hand. The pain was so intense that my eyes started to redden. The information in this cell phone is the most important technological secret of the country. If I lose it, I'll be in big trouble. William's men have already pushed me away. How dare they disrespect us like that? How dare you disrespect our sister-in-law? You're not afraid to die. William wiped his hands gracefully and asked the staff to bring him a better tool to destroy the cell phone. This cell phone is too hard to destroy. A few staff members quickly brought a sharp cone. It was so easy to destroy the phone. At a gesture from William's gesture, the cone was in his hand and aimed at my cracked screen. My eyes were bloodshot. I yelled at William, do you know what this phone means to you in particular? If you break it, you might have to stay in it all the time. I want so badly to get rid of those people who are holding me down and try to get the phone back. William took one look at me, curious. You don't want me to break a cell phone with your wife's picture on it? It's just a couple $1,000 phone. When the time is right, I'll get you a better one. The little followers around us look envious. Wow, trifold. That's so lucky. I wish my cell phone was broken by William. I wish I could get a trifold. My fists are clenched. If I hadn't been held down by those guys, I would have gone up to William and punched him in the face. What trifold? Even if there were 1,000 of them, it's nothing compared to my cell phone. Give me back my cell phone. Do you know what you're doing? Contains state secrets. When William heard what I said, he couldn't help but laugh. He asked if you know why we called you here. It's because you look so funny. I just want to see you in this kind of comical behavior. He also mentioned the country. Do you really know what country means? Come on, keep screaming. Let's hear what else you can scream. When I was in school, you were the special one, right? That's it. William stomped on my head again. The other followers followed suit. William is now now one of the researchers of strong technology. It's really the core of the country. Hey kid, do you know what strong technology is? The driver, who was pressed on the ground by the others, started to scream desperately, "Let go of Mr. Benson, Benson." But as soon as he finished speaking, more fists came down like rain. The intense pain made him wail, "What, Mr. Benson? Benson, Samuel, this actor you hired is really too dedicated." William spoke in a very strange tone. He slowly walked up to me and surprisingly, he stabbed that pointy thing in his hand hard into my cell phone. Boom! I could only watch helplessly as William's cell phone in his hand was completely screwed up. There was a flash of sparks. The phone was completely unusable. The electronic boardwalk is broken beyond repair. I can't even fix it. My eyes grew red. A powerful force suddenly emerged from my body. I broke free from the control of those punks around me. I took a swing at William. Just when I was about to hit him, the surrounding punks pressed me down again. "Samuel, are you looking for death?" William covered his nose, which was almost hit. His voice was full of anger. The reason why he was attracted to Rosalind. The most important thing was his face. If his face was damaged in any way, Rosalind might not be interested in him anymore. What then? As long as he can get on Rosalind's good side, he'll not only become a member of the Strong Technology Research Team, he'll also have a chance to enter a higher-level research institute. The future is unlimited. And now, I almost let him ruin my face. The anger in my heart is rising all of a sudden. Hold this kid down. Kick him hard. The boys held me down. No matter how I struggled, it was useless. I could only protect the back of my head with my hands. My back and hands are burning from the beating. Go get some more red wine. Today is my happy day. How can I have any less red? William's eyes were cold. He opened his mouth and said, "Alcohol on a wound. It only makes the pain worse." I almost disfigured him, and he wanted to torture me in this way. At that moment, William noticed the Rolex watch on my hand. He gave a little sign. One of his followers handed me my watch. "Oops, I can't believe you're wearing a fake watch like this. Do you really want to look decent?" William took a closer look at the Rolex in his hand. It was obvious that it was a fake. Then, he showed his brand new Rolex on his wrist, and he said proudly, "Look, this is a real Rolex. Rosalind gave it to him personally." I glanced up at the Rolex on William's wrist. I was angry as hell. It's a watch I had customized years ago. I never knew where it was before. I didn't realize it had ended up in Rosalind's possession. And that it had been given to William. I couldn't help but laugh. I spent tens of millions of dollars to have this watch customized. It's not easy. Even if William sold all his family's assets, William might not be able to afford a Rolex like this. Seeing me like this, his eyes immediately became gloomy. "Is it because I looked down on his watch?" said William ruthlessly, threw the piece of Rolex on his wrist onto the ground, and then he stepped on it. This heavy step. Rolex was almost broken. "This fake Rolex. How can you compete with me?" William looked at me with a superior look. William looked at me with a look of superiority, as if he was waiting for me to beg for mercy. At that moment, one of my escorts ran in from outside. He shouted excitedly, "William, Rosalind is here, outside the wedding." Rosalind's girlfriends follow close behind and excited to enter the wedding hall. Like proud white swans, they all walked in behind Rosalind. "Rosalind, you look beautiful today." William, like a loyal dog. William knelt down in front of Rosalind. Seeing this scene, Rosalind was filled with joy. Rosalind pulled William up, but she took the opportunity to smell William's odor. "What's going on? Why do I smell alcohol on your hands?" William casually glanced my way. Rosalind, taking care of a little piece of trash. Rosalind cups William's wrist. Rosalind holds William's wrist with a starry-eyed look in her eyes. "Seriously, this Rolex really suits you. Oh, by the way, what was that crap you were talking about? It's our big day. I don't want any other surprises." William rushed to take Rosalind in his arms. The little group behind him quickly moved to keep me out of the way. I could see Rosalind and William through the cracks, and my heart grew cold. My heart got colder and colder. It was just as I thought it would be. William's minions were holding me down. I could only let them trample me under their feet. The driver on the side had already been beaten unconscious. When I tried to speak, one of my followers gagged me with a rag. "It's William's big day. It's an honor to have you here. It's an honor to have you here," he whispered in my ear. Not far from me, Rosalind and William are having an intimate conversation. I can hear what they're saying, and I can see the way they're moving. Rosalind happily stepped out of William's arms, and with some curiosity, she asks, "William, who was that piece of trash you were talking about?" The corners of William's mouth rose slightly as he responded. "Do you remember that guy over there that we hardly notice?" Suddenly, Rosalind's heart tightens and an unspeakable feeling of panic welled up. Couldn't be Samuel, could it? As As soon as she uttered the words, she immediately shook her head. I'm a man of honor. If I come here, I'm sure everyone will be looking at me. How can I come quietly? William, you're such a bad guy. Rosalind patted William on the shoulder. Rosalind patted William on the shoulder. William thought Rosalind was just thinking of me. Quite disgusting, but he was going to keep teasing me anyway to make Rosalind happy. Rosalind's friends around him started laughing. Everyone was saying, our Rosalind is amazing. She's become the head of Strong Tech. In the future, the nation's cutting-edge technology will be developed under her leadership. Rosalind held her head up proudly, like a white swan. Wait for me. I've let some people have enough of this. Once they're gone, with my connections, you'll be able to join in without any problems. At this point, I'm being held at bay by William's followers, with my eyes fixed on Rosalind. This country's research team is in a mess with Rosalind. It's my fault, always subconsciously protecting her. My fists are clenched. William, I've got a treat for you at this wedding. And not far away, Rosalind kindly took out a warm jade pendant from his bosom. Seeing this scene, my eyes instantly turned red. That's a jade pendant that's been passed down from my grandmother, an heirloom that belonged to our family. I began to wriggle my body. I couldn't stop crying. I desperately wanted to stop Rosalind from giving William the jade pendant that belonged to our family. This family heirloom is not a simple one. There's a history behind it. There's a history behind this heirloom. This is the most valuable jade pendant in the entire National History Museum. For me, it also has a special meaning for me. When I was a child, I was in a car accident. I was in a coma for 3 days and 3 nights. No matter how much advanced medical equipment was used, I couldn't wake up. I lay in the hospital bed like a vegetable. The doctor's diagnosis was that I would never wake up. At that time, my grandmother held this jade pendant in her hand, holding my hand tightly. She sat quietly by the window. She didn't eat or drink for 3 days. The result, it was really a medical miracle. I woke up 3 days later, but Grandma collapsed after I woke up. She never got out of bed again. My mom told me Grandma was giving her life to buy me time in the future. This jade pendant makes me miss my grandmother even more. This jade pendant means something to me. It means my whole life. How could it be stolen by Rosalind? How could it have been stolen by Rosalind with the intention of giving it to William? I felt so sad that I burst into tears. Tears came to my eyes, just as I was trying to fight my way out. William's boys' kicks and punches rained down on me again. I didn't care about the excruciating pain, continued to try to wriggle my body. That's our family's heirloom jade pendant. There's no way someone else could have taken it. Rosalind, it's really irritating. The driver is slowly coming to his senses. He wanted to protect me, but suddenly realized he was just an ordinary man. I had to get help. Mr. Benson, how could Benson be treated like this? They always have an emergency contact number. By calling this emergency number, a large number of bodyguards will be able to arrive immediately. Not far away, William received the jade pendant from Rosalind with great appreciation. This must be a very valuable item. Rosalind, you're so good to me, he exclaimed. This jade pendant feels warm to the touch. Seeing that William liked it, Rosalind nodded happily. It's good that you like it. I can also make another bracelet for you to wear it on your wrist. At this time, the driver, after calling for help, he rushed towards me. He wanted to protect me. I struggled desperately, but the henchman tied me up so tightly, couldn't move at all. You guys, get away from Mr. Benson. Benson, the driver shouted. The sound echoed throughout the floor. Everyone turned their heads to see. Rosalind and William are no exception. William frowned and mentally very disgruntled. These followers were so unreliable. They can't even understand such a simple thing. I can't believe they let the people on my side make a sound. However, Rosalind should feel happy to see this little surprise of mine. Rosalind will be happy to see my little surprise. When I was at school, I was always pestering Rosalind. She was so annoyed with me. That's right. Rosalind also saw the driver who rushed out to protect me. That's not my driver. Why is he here? She was so scared that she dropped the jade pendant in her hand. It ended up shattering. The driver had swooped in to protect me. He blocked the punches and kicks of William's men. He tried not to hurt me. William came over in a rage. He kicked the driver in the head. Rosalind was in a daze. Her body was still shaking slightly. She didn't think I was actually here. Why am I here? Why is this not such a big occasion? Why am I being looked down upon by those people? And I just heard her say those words. Doesn't she know I'm here? Rosalind's mind was in turmoil. Rosalind's mind was in turmoil, and her heart was filled with fear, and her hands began to shake. But no one around her noticed her state. Everyone's eyes were on me. Her best friends also came towards me. Hey, isn't that Samuel who's been pestering Rosalind before? He looks like he's just been given a hard time by William. Rosalind, come and see. The way this kid looks. He's been pestering you for a long time. Oh, Rosalind, William loves you very much. He went to see Samuel. He gave him a good good beating. William even yelled for you to come over. I was thinking, I'm thinking of recruiting this guy. He'll be our cleaner. He'll shine my shoes every day. What do you think? It's like a bolt from the blue. It was like a bolt from the blue. It shocked Rosalind. Shoe shine? William can lick my shoes all right, but he has no business licking my shoes. I gave Rosalind everything. Everything she gave William. Because of me. If I leave Rosalind, everything she has will be gone. After a brief moment of stunned silence, Rosalind immediately ran over. She quickly pushed William's henchman out of the way. Rosalind rushed to help me, but I pushed her hands straight away. Tears came to her eyes. Listen to me. Just then, William huffed and kicked at me. Samuel, you're really looking for death. Rosalind was trying to help you up. You pushed her away. But before William's kick came, the driver crashed into her like a bull, and he knocked William out of the car. William's friends around him immediately became agitated. They were following William with all their hearts. They couldn't let him get hit like that. At that moment, several burly bodyguards dressed in black rushed into the place. Immediately after that, a loud shout resounded throughout the wedding hotel. Who dares to bully Mr. Benson? A large number of black-clothed bodyguards rushed in like a tidal wave. Everyone at the scene was stunned. Outside the wedding hotel, all the entrances and exits are closely monitored. The staff have been warned. They are not allowed to make any small movements. Even the owner of the hotel was warned. The owner is full of doubts. It's just a wedding. How did the situation become so complicated? In front of everyone's incredulous eyes, a group of strong bodyguards dressed in black suddenly knelt in front of me. Their eyes were filled with anger. Who beat Mr. Benson like this? Benson like this? Rosalind rushed to me, suddenly knelt down. Samuel, it's not what you think. Just before Rosalind finished speaking, a bodyguard handed me the broken jade pendant respectfully. My jade pendant, the one that I had come to cherish like my life depended on it. I actually broke it. I smiled bitterly, although the technological core I could have spent more time making. But this jade pendant, I really can't recover it. With a wave of my hand, it hit Rosalind directly in the face. I stared at her with a cold gaze. In my heart, I knew that this jade pendant saved me the rest of my life. Grandmother, are you still blessing me? I held this piece of jade pendant tightly in my hand. William is a bit dizzy. He didn't realize what had just happened. When he saw those black-clad bodyguards staring at him with unfriendly eyes, he couldn't help but take a step backward. He asked nervously, what do you want? Rosalind was the chief research officer of Strong Technology. She represents the country. Are you going against the country? I'm going to join PowerTech soon. You're attacking the country's people, William said sternly to the black-clothed bodyguards in front of him. I looked at William with a cold look. I felt like he was a clown. The country? Aren't those black-clad bodyguards from the country? The so-called powerful technology. It's actually just a research team under me, the one that everyone else wants to be a part of. For me, I can form another one at any time. One of the bodyguards in black grabbed William like a chicken. Then, William was thrown in front of me. The two black-clad bodyguards helped me stand up, and seeing the injuries on my body, their anger became more and more obvious. I am a valuable talent of the country. I actually suffered so many injuries here. It made them want to dispose of everyone here. At this moment, Rosalind was on her knees, and Rosalind was on her knees, no longer paying attention to William. She knew in her heart, if she couldn't make me happy, she's going to be miserable for the rest of her life. Samuel, who the hell are you? William's teeth were chattering. He looked scared. The driver next to him slowly stands up, and blood falls drop by drop on William's hair. The driver grabs William and lifts him up hard. William, what's the big deal about the Strong Technology group you mentioned? Mr. Benson wanted to set it up. Benson didn't just set it up, did he? William's eyes began to become frightened, heart filled with despair. Rosalind is still trying to get the last bit of hope. Samuel, I know I was wrong. It's really the first time. I beg you to spare my life. I just glanced at Rosalind coldly. Ever since you took out my family heirloom jade pendant, I won't let you off the hook. I don't want these two to remain free like this in the future. Those minions belonging to William, they've all been captured by my bodyguards. No one can escape. And Rosalind's girlfriends, the same thing. They were all held down by my bodyguards. Rosalind kept begging me, but our relationship was completely broken. Later, I heard that they were tried in court. William, who was one of the masterminds, was sentenced to life imprisonment. And before being sent in, he was already crippled by many people. He probably won't live long. Rosalind, the other mastermind, had all his assets confiscated. She was also sentenced to life imprisonment. She was in a similar situation to William before she went in. I don't feel bad about how they ended up because I hold the future in my hands.